Let's get into this conversation now. Rumors of racism, they continue to circulate about the prestigious Cornwall Hill College in Centurion. It has been 9 months since the South African Human Rights Commission investigated racism claims at the school. At the time, the commission said the school was cooperating fully. However, fresh claims have surfaced that the school board has rejected its own diversity committee's findings on racism. Well, let's get more on this story now, and we speak to Zibusiso Kganyago, who is a member of the Diversity and Transformation Committee at Cornwall Hill College. Mrs. Kganyago, thank you very much for your time. Let me just correct ourselves and say that these are actually submissions to the South African Human Rights Commission. We're not at the stage of findings just yet, but let me start the conversation this way. Since the events of May last year, that was the major march outside the school premises over this issue of alleged racism. What has changed at Cornwall Hill College, in your view?
Good morning, Lutolo, and thank you for having me. Let me start off by stating that I am here as a parent at Cornwall Hill College, but also a member of the concerned parents. But also just want to dispel this myth that concerned parents do not care about the school. We are here because we have the best interest of the school at heart. We are here because this is our school. We want a successful, transformed Cornwall Hill College. We were here as concerned parents when a group known by the name of Beter Einders descended on the school on Founders Day. We were here 2 days, Lutolo, after the march, when a teacher who also happens to be a parent at the school pulled out a learner, a black learner, out of class to interrogate her about what had transpired between his daughter and this learner. You can imagine the anger and the frustration among parents. We came out to the school to call for calm. We came out to the school to support this learner, but most importantly, to ensure that she was treated fairly. So we have the best interests of the school at heart. We are interested in genuine, honest, authentic, lasting solutions. Solutions that are consistent with the constitution of our country.
Yeah.
At the heart of our challenges at Cornwall is racism. And we must have these honest discussions. Racism at Cornwall is systemic. It is not just an issue that involves learners. It is also an issue that involves staff. But sadly, it is also an issue that finds expression in the significant parts of the parent body, as was evidenced at the AGM.
Let me ask this question. Let me ask this question then, Mrs. Kganyago. And you say that racism is systemic at Cornwall Hill College. Some people will find it very peculiar that a school established post-1994 can have such an issue. But that aside, a board chairperson, a new board chairperson who is black, was appointed after the AGM of August 2021. Has her appointment changed anything, any attitudes?
Sadly, Lutolo, very little has changed. Since the appointment of the new chairperson, she has not had any engagements with the concerned parents. In fact, the letter from the deputy chair, and this is a letter that was penned in October to the concerned parents, indicated that the school does not know who the concerned parents are. And this is from a deputy chair who had been at the march. So was the chair of the board. And so were a couple of members of the board. So you have a board that was present at the march, that in October was happy to pen a letter to the concerned parents, telling them they do not know who they are.
Sure. Let me ask this question. Are you saying that the behavior of the new board chairperson, because it can only be one of two things, it's either that she is outnumbered at board level and therefore she has to carry the decisions of a predominantly white board, or it's either we have a token leader as board chairperson at Cornwall Hill. Which of these two?
Lutolo, I don't want to personalize the matter. All I want to say is that we have a leadership problem at our school. A major problem. And this is evidenced by the executive principal resigning from the Diversity and Transformation Committee. The man at the helm of the school has resigned from the Diversity and Transformation Committee. And the question we must ask, how did the board allow this to happen?
All right.
These leadership challenges are also reflected in the manner in which the school leadership has dealt with issues at Cornwall. Whether it is the addendum, which was penned by learners in 2020, and it was both black and white learners. Whether it is the diversity consultants, we started off with Mr. Stanley Bongwa. He was disengaged for reasons best known by the school. We then had Miss Lovelyn Nwadei, who facilitated town hall sessions, which were attended by staff, parents, the alumni. And we were promised, Lukolo, at these sessions, that the full report will be made available to this community. These sessions were held in June, July, Lukolo. It's March. We are yet to lay our hands on the report by Miss Nwadei. There's been another consultant who's also been brought on board. We don't know what's happened to them. And as I speak to you now, I saw in the communication from the school last week, we have another firm of consultants conducting racial literacy at the school.
Let me ask this question, Mrs. Kganyago, because your words here this morning are clearly demonstrating that there has not been progress at Cornwall Hill College since the events of May last year. Your husband last year, who was part of the march, your husband, Leseja Kganyago, said these words, and I want to quote directly. The school has got to consciously go out and look for black teachers to give our children pride, to actually look and know that there are black people who are excelling in the education space. And this is a quotation, by the way, that was once again put up by the Sunday Times yesterday in their story around your school. How many black teachers are at Cornwall Hill College as we speak?
So, Lutolo, let me just start off by dealing with the quotation by my husband. And let me start off by saying, and I think this was unfortunate in yesterday's article, he is a parent before he is the governor of the South African Reserve Bank. And I think he made it clear, even as he spoke last year, that he was speaking as a parent. To the issue regarding the number of black teachers at the school, yes, the number of black teachers has increased. But is it enough? The answer is no. In the same way that there's been an increase in the number of black directors on the board. So when this journey started in 2020, there was but just one person of color on the board. We now have 4 people of color on the board. But Lutolo, this is 2022. This is in South Africa. This is a school that owes its existence to a post-apartheid society.
Yeah.
Must we celebrate? It can't be that we celebrate such small milestones.
All right.
Given our history, we should be leading.
Mrs. Kganyago, let's conclude our conversation. I've got two questions lumped in one, and the first element talks to the school principal, whom, as I understand it, has been head of that school since its establishment in 1998. The understanding is that he is going to be retiring in August of this year. If he does go, who will be held accountable? Second link to my question is that of the education authorities. If a school clearly demonstrates that it is not willing to change as far as issues of racism are concerned, what should be the role of education authorities in the country?
Thanks, Tukolo. So let me just quickly take you back to your last question before the break, which related to the number of teachers at the school. Let me just indicate that as we sit here, in the management team at that school, there is not a single black person. So we have 4 principals, the executive principal and the phase principals, all of whom are white. To the issue about the school principal and his retirement in September, we hope that the board would ensure that they address the issues of transformation in our executive team. And we hope that the journey is not stalled whilst we wait for the board to find a new executive team. We have a board here which must be held responsible. So we will hold this board to account. With regards to the institutional bodies, we've had the Department of Education come and engage with the school. The MEC was here on the day of the march. The school gave an undertaking that it will engage with the concerned parents and that would find one another. The department has given us the space. They were back here at the beginning of December. We are yet to hear feedback from this board and the management team that once again engages with the concerned parents. And perhaps as I close, I just want to deal with what I see as the way forward. I think it's important that the school releases the Loveland report. Secondly, I think that we've had recent instances of racism at the school. It is important that we confront these issues honestly and openly. And thirdly, as the concerned parents, we have called for honest engagements with the school. We have a PA meeting coming on Wednesday. The school is adamant that it does not want issues on transformation to be deliberated upon at the PA meeting. And this is a constitutional structure of the school. And we demand that issues on transformation be dealt with at our PA meeting on Wednesday. Strangely, these meetings have been cancelled for the last 4 months. The constitution of the school prescribes that these meetings are held monthly. We are going to that meeting on Wednesday, once again, to impress upon the school that transformation is an imperative that cannot wait for any longer.